kind of moving from flash sales over to kind of the marketplace model, and then even as you mentioned, kind of entering other categories. How are you thinking about kind of sequencing into new categories? And is that going to be, through the Luxury Escapes product experience, or is this going to be through new properties?
It's a really good question. All through Luxury Escapes, to answer your last question first. So we've got, and one of the reasons to switch to marketplace from flash only was we had all these customers coming to Luxury Escapes, so millions and millions of uniques every month, who just didn't have what they couldn't buy we couldn't sell them what they wanted to buy. So so we've got a marketplace that's doing we launched in January, haven't promoted it really online at all, or offline at all. Only people who sort of happened to see our search bar and noticed that we're sort of $130 million run rate TTV on that, with no marketing in sort of 8 months, growing 20% month by month. So we think there's huge scale ability on that. So yeah, and part of that sort of secret sauce is we've got this business that has lots of traffic. So obviously that's the chicken egg issue with marketplace. One is you've got to get a product, you've got supply and demand. We've got the demand because we've got the throughput. So that's sort of part of the thinking behind that. In terms of the work, Flash is hard from a perspective in that everything's a negotiation. Like, to get these incredible deals, can be a 3-year negotiation between us and the hotel, us and the brand. So once you get it once, they love it and they do it repeatedly. It becomes like crack for the revenue team and the owner, because they make so much money from this. But convincing an owner that's profitable is a big challenge. So Flash has its own set of challenges that we build an extranet for our hotel partners. So it's very hands-on work. Marketplace is much less hands-on, but much more tech-driven. So I'm not sure how much you or your listeners or people on the call sort of know about the hotel marketplace product, but generally for hotel marketplace is very different to product marketplace, in that you need to get dynamic inventory and dynamic pricing, because hotels are very dynamic. Pretty much all hotels are dynamic now. So back in 2003, Booking.com started with an extranet. You can get away with that. You can't get away with it now because hotels are revenue management has gotten really smart. And there's mathematicians who do this and super smart people. So they're trying to maximize yield every day, so that the pricing's changing. Not only every day, there's 40, 50, 60 rate plans. So, and those rates are changing every day. It's like airlines almost in a way. So it's super dynamic. Maybe not quite airline level, but we're getting there. So revenue managers are optimizing yield constantly for, are you staying 2 days? Are you arriving in 3 months and 6 months? Or what kind of room is it? So it's constantly changing rates, and there's constantly, and everybody's competing for that last room. So you need to be, if you want to be marketplace, you've got to be connected via a channel manager or a set of channel managers to the hotel. So there's really 4 kind of, there's a switch called DerbySoft, which allows you to connect to the brands. So your Marriott, your IHGs, your Hiltons, your Hyatts, your Accors. And then generally for the mid-sized brands, so the sort of high-end mid-sized brands, they tend to go through a channel manager called Nexus, which is owned by Sabre, which is a big US GDS, which is effectively talking a few sort of travel terms. But when you buy from an air product and you go to a travel agent, they use something called a GDS, or a global distribution system, which connects agents to airlines. And that's super dynamic. And there's a similar thing with hotels. So Sabre, the big airline, one of the big airline GDSs, has a product called Nexus. So that allows you to connect to brands like Kempinski and Shangri-La, and so the great mid-sized but super elite brands. So we're in the process of connecting to, and then SiteMinder, which is another big one for independents and travel fleets. So there's 4 main ones, and then there's another 200 localized ones. So Greece has one, and Singapore has one, Thailand has one. And so you get to the 4 big ones, and you sort of have 80% coverage, but you can't have a marketplace without a channel manager. And there's 2 issues there. Channel managers don't want to work with everyone because they make money as well. So if you're a tiny OTA, channel managers, they come back to us and you've got more customers. You use a bed bank in the process. And also hotels have to do work. So hotels won't connect with you until you've got volume. So you need to have volume. So it's actually quite there's only probably a couple of hundred OTAs globally, if that. So the bookings experience have a pretty big moat in that it's pretty hard to create a direct connected OTA these days. You need real scale. And otherwise, you've got to go through what we call a bed bank, which is effectively a wholesaler, of which the big OTAs are one as well. So we've spent the last 18 months connecting to these channel managers, and we're pretty much almost done with the big 4. So we've got 3 connected. But then you've got to onboard the hotels. That's the whole process. You've got to work with the hotels and the brands to onboard. So it's a much, much, much bigger tech. We've got 30, 40 people working on this every day, getting hotels live. And that's why we've got 500 properties live, not 5,000 already. We'll get to 5,000 in coming years when we start getting the brands on board. But it's been a much bigger tech lift, operational lift, rather than sales lift. So the sale isn't that hard. It's fun. But it's not like Flash, where it's much bigger sales lift, much smaller tech lift. It's the reverse. But once you've got a product on, it stays on. And the really interesting dynamic we're seeing is some of our marketplace. So I think Flash is a really good deal, and we sell millions of dollars of product if it's a really good deal. But then we have a long tail of Flash. So we may have 60 Flash deals at one time. Top 10 will do significant revenue, $100,000, even $1 million a day, whereas kind of the next 40 might do 5, 10, 20,000. So it's a bit of a long tail. Some of our marketplace properties do more volume than our Flash, which is really interesting. So you've got this always on property that is always there, is doing more revenue and sales than a super hot deal, just because it's a more desirable location or it was on property, whatever the reason. So we see huge potential with marketplace. We think marketplace within 18, again, when I say marketplace, I mean our always on product. We think our always on product within 18 months is bigger than Flash. Flash always is a good part of our business and is a multi-billion-dollar business, we think. But we think marketplace can be a $10+ billion business in terms of TTV. What that translates into market cap, who knows? But we think that becomes a significant business just because it's always on. It's still the world's best product. You can still go to Luxury Escapes now and get a better product for London or New York or LA than on any other platform. So it's still the best product, but now there's choice as well.